This is May, and this is Indianapolis, the world's greatest race course, getting set for the 108th Indianapolis 500, but it first starts with a road course weekend. The NTT IndyCar Series races tomorrow on NBC, and the top step of the ladder, INDY NXT by Firestone, races not once, but twice this weekend. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us from the 9th floor of the Pagoda overlooking the Yard of Bricks. I'm Kevin Lee, along with Charlie Kimball, as we get set for rounds 3 and 4. First and foremost, yes, the championship and the scholarship certainly matter, but how high up the pecking order does doing well at IMS do for these drivers?
Anytime you get to race the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as a young driver, as an older driver, experienced driver, rookie driver, it matters. So coming out here, coming across the Yard of Bricks, getting a good result, maybe getting onto that podium, it matters so much to a driver.
We got two drivers that have separated atop the championship we'll talk about, but we've only had 2 rounds. After this weekend, do we start to get a sense of who's still in play?
I really believe this is where a championship run begins, with a doubleheader, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, coming in to the month of May. This is where it starts.
All right, let's look at what we're going to be facing here for this just shy of 2.5-mile track. 2.439 miles to be precise, Charlie.
Yeah, it's a great road course, great natural terrain road course. Turn 1 is a hot spot. It's a great passing zone, long straight into heavy braking. We saw some shots here from yesterday. That's why there's a little bit of rain on the track. No rain in the forecast for today. This turn 5, turn 6, fast chicane leads down to another heavy brake zone in turn 7. Great passing opportunity. The rhythm section of the track, turn 8, turn 9, turn 10, leads out to the alternate start finish, leads back up onto the oval into this turn 12 complex. Can be a sneaky passing zone if someone's really good out of that turn 10 rhythm section. Turn 13 here leads onto the longest straight. Turn 14 is fast, leads back up onto the oval, going the other direction down that front straight, back down towards turn 1.
Sometimes a little bit soggy. We had that a lot yesterday for USF testing, but it has been beautiful so far today. But it was cloudy a little while ago, but DJ Clark, it looks like we're in good shape now. What else are you watching for in this race?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin and Charlie, it has been a gorgeous day out here, and we've all been having a great time, but you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who's having a better day than Jacob Abel. He has been able to claim not only pole position for the first race, but pole position for the second race as well. Combine that with the fact he took his maiden win in Barber just a couple of weeks ago, and momentum is building for this Abel Motorsports driver.
You get that first one, you start to think that more might come, and he's won, well, not only back-to-back pole weekends, but, yeah, it's going to be 3 in a row because he's got the pole coming up for tomorrow. He got it done under caution, but led the entire way from pole. Maybe Nolan Siegel would have had something. He said he was saving the Firestones for the last lap push. Caution came out right before the white flag. Jacob Abel breaks through after finishing as a runner-up 3 different times, and they were tied coming into the weekend, but bonus point for the pole puts Abel at top for just a moment, Charlie.
And it's a bonus point for both Jacob Abel and Kyle Collette, which is helpful for that rookie driver in the 18 car. But Jacob Abel, he's really riding that wave coming out of Barber Motorsports. I think Nolan Siegel was really disappointed, but as he said, anytime you're disappointed with second, it's a good day at the office.
It's going to be a pretty good month for Nolan Siegel, too. He, on Tuesday, will start preparing for his first Indianapolis 500 attempt. He is one of the 34 that are entered, so no guarantee. 34 entered, 33 will make the world's greatest race coming up on Sunday, May 26th, here on Peacock and also on NBC as well. All right, as you can see, drivers are strapped in for the first of a pair of INDY NXT races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, going in the opposite direction of the oval. Let's head downstairs now for the command.
Here to give the command to start engines, your Grand Marshal for the INDY NXT by Firestone Indianapolis Grand Prix. From Performance Tire Service Company, James Corley.
Drivers, start your engines.
Performance Tire Service Company has been a great partner of Firestone and the IndyCar and INDY NXT paddock for many, many years. Great to see James out front getting to represent everyone, and we have 21 ready to go. This is the largest field since 2007 at this race. Back when it was the Liberty Challenge, that's when Indy Lights at the time was a support series for Formula One. Let's look at how they are going to go from the front row. As mentioned, Jacob Abel on pole for the second straight weekend, third time in his career. And Kyle Collette is off to a great start. He's finished 7th and 4th in his 2 races. This is the best start of his young Indy NXT career.
James Rowe rocking that Notre Dame special helmet we saw. Got a great shot of there. Louis Foster, I think, maybe disappointed being outside of row 2. He had great speed all weekend.
Nolan Siegel, as mentioned, in the Menlo Ventures car, right there in the championship, starts 5th. And Jamie Chadwick continues to be quick, now needs a result, starting 6th in the Vext car.
Jonathan Brown from Ireland, the second Irish driver in the field, inside of row 4. Callum Hedge, a Kiwi driver, outside of row 4, rocking that New Zealand special color scheme.
Michael D'Orlando has been race to race, but here he is for a third weekend, getting races 3 and 4 after finishing 4th and 6th so far in the Priority Technology and RSR machine. And then Reese Gold has been quick. He's a race winner before. He will start next to him.
Bryce Aaron inside of row 6. Another rookie in that 27 car. Miles Rowe outside of row 6, that Force Indy HMD Motorsports car.
Salvador De Alba is going to start in row 7. Josh Pearson will start next to him as well.
Inside of row 8, Yuvan Sunderworthy, recently graduated university from Wisconsin. Another Abel Motorsports car, and then Jordan Missick joining that Abel Motorsports car crew outside of row 8.
Christian Bogle in the Pelican Energy car. Nolan Aller is going to start next to him. He's raced here before in SCCA.
Niels Colin inside of row 10, that 33 car. Outside of row 10, Indianapolis native J.W. Miller, Jack William Miller, that rookie outside of row 10 in the 40 car.
Row 11, we're going to see Lindsey Brewer for Juncos Hollinger Racing, bringing up this 21-car field here today. Getting set to go for 35 laps. And what is it going to take? Well, Kimball's Keys will give us an idea.
You know, it's really about momentum. This is where your championship starts. It's a doubleheader here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Race 1, you've got to get it done on race 1. Carry that momentum into race 2 and all the way through the championship. Now this is the racing capital of the world. It's a chance to show off in front of IndyCar team owners, in front of the greatest race fans in the world, on the greatest racetrack in the world. That adds a little bit of extra pressure heading down to turn 1. We'll see if that affects any of our drivers.
It has been a busy day. We have seen activity before 8 a.m. today, and we wrap it up with Indy NXT with the first of 2 coming up this weekend, getting set to line up in pairs. I remember last year in one of the 2 rounds, it took 3 tries to get them right. So let's hope the first time is a winner this time. Black and red car, Abel Construction. Jacob Abel is going to have the inside line. Kyle Collette, green and black from the outside. Abel is going to try to take them with him. That Topcon car of James Rowe tucked up right behind Abel, lagging back a little bit is Louis Foster. As they approach the Yard of Bricks at the world's greatest race course, it's the first of 2 this weekend, and let's go from Indy.
Good start, good start.
They'll think about going 3 wide a little further back. James Rowe is going to pop out in that blue and white car and think about challenging for the lead. Abel hangs on to it, but Rowe has picked up a spot. He's in second, and there's contact further back. James make that Miles Rowe. Made a little bit of contact further back. I think everybody's going to survive it, though.
Settling into this turn 3-4 complex. You want a great exit out of here, heading down through that fast chicane 5 and 6. Couple of people, Miles Rowe missing that apex at turn 6. Jacob Abel disappearing up the front.
Well, you can hear that lockup for James Rowe. He's going to hang on to it for a moment, and now he's going to go on the grass, and he's going to lose 2, 3, 4, many spots as he slips back, and that great starting position has all gone away, and more problems in the back with 2 more cars in the grass, and one of them is one of the Abel construction cars. Jordan Missick making his Indy NXT debut, has to get it turned back around.
They're headed up here to turn 12, side by side going on further back. Jacob Abel, what a start. He's carrying that win momentum from Barber right here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Further back, still battling for positions. Green and black car, Salvador De Alba. Right in front of him, Michael D'Orlando in the blue and black car. Side by side for second. Collette trying to protect that position as he comes down to try to defend, so Foster will peek around the outside.
I think race control is going to have another look at that. For me, that was not a defense.
Huge block, huge block.
They're calling in a huge block for him. Race control will look at that, going side by side through turn 4.
And a lot going on in that first lap. There's the lockup first for James Rowe, who moved up to second and has fallen back to 14th.
Great start for James Rowe. Gets on the brakes. Those cold Firestones lock up. Kyle Collette then. Louis Foster's inside. Kyle Collette just drives him over to the wall. We'll see what race control says about that. I hope they're looking at it.
James Rowe did make a stop on pit lane, so he is going to fall all the way to the back. We'll see whether they had to change Firestones or check anything else.
Louis Foster back up on the front straight, chasing down Kyle Collette. Not close enough for a move this time.
Jack William Miller has picked up 7 or 8 spots already. Moved up to 13th place after starting near the back today in the Patterson Dental car, so he is making his way forward. Also, Miles Rowe has moved up some spots. And Yuvan Sundarmurthy has moved up 7 spots in the opening moments. He's up to 8th already. Great start for the Wisconsin graduate. We're looking here at 10th, 11th, and 12th.
He has to follow behind you.
That was odd from Michael D'Orlando. I guess maybe that's the smart thing. If you're going to miss that turn, just keep going straight instead of trying to follow the racetrack.
And rather than have contact at the apex, Michael D'Orlando taking the stage right exit onto the grass, try and move on. The 99 we see falling behind the 40 car for a shortcut earlier in the race. To try and gather it up, get the exit out of 13 here. This turn 14 should be flat. Miles Rowe hoping to get the draft down this front straight and pass back into turn 1.
And Miles Rowe just gave up a spot to Jack William Miller in that blue Patterson Dental Haven Go car because we saw Miles Rowe shortcut the track early. That's why he had to give up a spot. You can't gain any positions in that circumstance. And I assume really they look at it if you kept a position. That's a bit of a judgment call. They feel like by shortcutting the track, you kept a position, they could ask you to give a spot back. That's a great start for Miller. This is home track. He's been on the podium here before in USF. And there's Kyle Collette, who started on the front row. Turn 7. Stopped in the grass. More lockup. Somebody else blew the corner. That's Lindsey Brewer.
She's found reverse. Look at the flat spots on those Firestones, though. You can see that. It's all the way through to the court. She'll have to come to pit lane and get a new set of Firestones.
And that impacts race 2 because you are very limited. That essentially means, I think what you do at this point is you use one of your practice sets and save your better set for tomorrow. So here first, oh, that's a spin by Kyle Collette.
He was running in second and dropped back to 4th behind Nolan Siegel there. Louis Foster on the charge now. Just getting it wrong there in turn 7.
Siegel is up to 3rd, Foster 2nd, Abel in charge. by 3.5 seconds.
All
Brewers
of them are fucked. All the tires are fucked. You either have a puncture or...
Angry radio transmission sounds like maybe a flat tire or something causing that spin for Kyle Collette.
I didn't just walk up like that. Something happened.
She thinks something happened before the lockup. Very, very possible.
That left front flat, they'll come in and change that.
There's Jacob Abel. Where is everyone else? Where? There they are. Everybody said, get that first one and it might open the floodgates. We have a long way to go, but 5 laps in.
There's damage from Louis Foster's front wing there. Hanging off the front of that car. Nolan Siegel's got him in his sights now.
And Nolan's going to blow by him quite soon. Remember, Louis Foster had a real
Let me
tussle.
know if it gets full. It's like a seal.
Oh, there you go. That's not good. We had a real tussle last year with Hunter McElroy. And that's not going to make it for 29 more
Yeah, we're
laps.
going to have to change it. Pit.
Oh, what a shame for Louis Foster. Had several weekends of bad luck last year after being consistently fast. He had all those electrical issues, barely got any track time at Barber before the race, and drove all the way from the back up to 5th. Was 3rd in the championship coming into this weekend, so he's not going to give up 2nd at this point. He's going to try to slow down Nolan Siegel for as long as he can, and then he's going to have to pit this next time by. DJ.
Well, Kevin, I've been able to talk to a couple of drivers down in the pits having problems with tires. Both James Rowe and Kyle Collette have come in and changed tires to fix a flat spot. Thankfully, nothing else wrong on the car.
And in both those circumstances, it makes some sense because we saw massive lockups in those situations. So the tires are not happy with that. All right, let's radio now with Nolan Siegel still chasing that wounded car.
Your best not to use push to pass the fight faster. The front wing will not be there very long. It's dragging the ground, not attached. So you'll get up shortly. Just be smart and patient.
Louis Foster had been told to pit, but decided to hang on for a moment. What he'd really like, right, is to cause a caution and then pit. He needs a caution to keep his race alive.
He definitely needs a yellow because that'll bunch everyone up. He'll be able to come in, change that front wing, and not lose any real track time. We'll be able to catch up behind him. Nolan Siegel comes to the outside down to turn 7.
And Foster is able to hang on to it, and also Siegel is being smart. I'm sure Siegel is not going to force the issue that much.
Talk about Nolan Siegel being smart. He was just accepted to Stanford University, so there's no lack of brains in that cockpit.
So a drive-through for the 18, Kyle Collette. That's for blocking that we saw on Foster early. We still don't know why that wing is askew. They didn't make contact there, did they? So that happened after that.
I think that happened the lap after that, maybe down into turn 1.
I know this is frustrating, but you got it. Race control still looking at it. Just be smart here, just like you are. You're doing plenty good. You got this.
And Nolan is saying, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to get him eventually. But Jacob Abel is checking out. Jacob is quite enjoying this circumstance with a wounded car, keeping others behind right now.
He's about a half a second a lap up front. Jacob Abel disappearing up the road. He's got a 5-second gap now. So Louis Foster, Nolan Siegel, both hoping for a yellow flag. Some advice on the radio. Nolan Siegel try to get to the inside. It's harder to go the long ways around on the outside, but I think he's going to get it done down into turn 7.
Do other teams monitor other radios? Was that the okey doke? Artie's going to look to the inside and then just go to the outside.
Well, I think Nolan might have used a little push to pass there. It gives you some extra horsepower. It allows you to get alongside on the outside, even carry that momentum. Louis Foster knows he's got a wounded car. He's just hoping that he gets a yellow, but they're calling him in now to change that front wing. He's doing everything he can on pit end to limit the damage, but he's still going to lose a lot of track time. Even if you just drive through, it's almost a 40-second loss, plus the time to change that front wing.
And we saw kind of in the distance others with some issues. So obviously Bryce Aaron of Andretti was one of them. Bryce had been quick all weekend, and was looking forward to this. Josh Pearson already out. We didn't see that, or if we did, it was off in the distance. So we're keeping DJ busy at this point. He's got a lot of stories to check into. There's not supposed to be action on pit lane in these races.
Well, there isn't, but there has been a whole bunch here at this point. Louis Foster just came in to change that front wing, and here is what happened. It looked like it was contact with Kyle Collette that forced that front wing to break.
Any issue with that coming across, or is that more of a racing incident and the penalty would have been on the first one? Louis Foster's probably not really happy with either one of them.
Well, I think it comes down to the first one, the fact that there was a block thrown down the front straight when Louis Foster should have gotten that pass done, would have been ahead of Kyle Collette. Then he tries to get inside. He sees Collette coming to the apex, and he tries to get out of it to save the car. Obviously loses his front wing. The two people that this really helped, Jacob Abel, Nolan Siegel, the two trying to put together championship contention. Louis Foster losing ground on those two lead cars in the championship hunt, as well as losing ground during today's race.
Run a little further back. Salvador De Alba is taking a look at Jonathan Brown. A good qualifying effort, starting 7th here today, rookie in Indy NXT. He's been on the pole here before, Brown has, in USF Pro. Finished 4th here a couple of times before. Still just, Jonathan is, his 3rd year racing in America. And while he was in USF Pro, he was also going to school back in Ireland and commuting. So last year was really the first time he had a chance to focus on motorsport. De Alba.
And that all
on the outside there, up to 7th.
That all came down to the exit of turn 4 for Salvador De Alba. Gets that run, uses the draft, uses the push-to-pass system, is able to go to the outside, go past Jonathan Brown, and now think about trying to chase down Juven Sundermoorthy ahead of him.
And there is Juven Sundermoorthy, who has moved up 9 spots so far, running in 6th. Great starts for another one of the Abel Motorsports car. This is Jacob Abel's teammate, and Juven has had a lot of success here. He's won 3 different times in junior formulas. One of them at least was in F1600, so Juven likes this place and has it really going. He's able to kind of get through the mess in the opening couple of laps and is now doing some quick laps. And there's another big mover, Jack William Miller, back there, one of those blue cars in the number 40 for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. Jack Miller, his dad, former Indy 500 driver, Adam Vinatieri, maybe the GOAT, one of the greatest place kickers of all time in the National Football League with the New England Patriots and Indianapolis Colts. So we see some of the intel on Juven, recent college grad, now fully focused on motorsport. Doing a nice job holding off De Alba, who works with Michel Jourdain Jr. People remember him as a teenage race driver. Michel has been working with Salvador and helped get him to America and to the Andretti group. That's an Andretti Cape entry. And certainly a lot of intel they can use. DJ, what's going on with Kyle Collette?
Well, he's back down into pit lane, Kevin, and when they took the right rear tire off, it frankly looked a little bit cockeyed. They took a look at the suspension on the right rear, sent it back out, so I'm not sure if there is an actual problem with the suspension or if that wheel just wasn't affixed correctly.
Well, his right rear made contact with the left front of Foster, right? And then who just missed the corner? Was that Miller?
It was
the blue car.
Jack Miller going through the long, what's called in race control the long cut between turn 1 and turn 3.
Not great, but not awful. You only lose a couple of spots, so it's not a race-destroying mistake. So that is a place where you can push the limit a little bit and know you can survive. See it again.
It's the second car in line. He thinks about a move on Brown, locks the rear tires. That's when the car steps out like that. What happens is the rear tires lock up. It's the blue car that pops. You can see him slide the rear tires once, twice. He's correcting it. He's just trying to save the car there. Brown goes through. There's a lot of action in that turn 1 area.
Yeah, Jonathan Brown was just trying to also not make contact, so that forced him to give up a spot, and Michael D'Orlando gets by him for 8th. Miller got a finish. Made contact at St. Pete in his first Indy Next race. Did a solid job at Barber to get a finish further up front. Salvador de Alba continues to be on the charge, looking to move in front of Juven Sundermorthy. Not this time. Over under, though. He's going to maybe have the opportunity here. No, Juven hangs on to it.
Juven defended. So there's a real difference in looking at how you take the line down to turn one if you defend versus block. And now Michael D'Orlando Jr. has got a great run on Salvador de Alba because Salvador was looking ahead, not worried about his mirrors.
De Alba will make him go as far away around as he can. D'Orlando looking to tuck back in. Oh, that's really tight right there. 6th, 7th, and 8th, all right there together.
Sundermorthy appreciating the fact that D'Orlando's going after de Alba, giving him a little breathing room.
D'Orlando's thinking about it here. Now pops to the outside. That's not a passing opportunity, but he's going to be right there. Not a great passing opportunity. You can.
I did say on my track map it's a sneaky spot there in turn 12. It's a longer run than you'd expect because it's a bend away. It's not a straightaway. It bends around up to turn 12.
Now, Michael, keep the pressure on.
It's Dominic Cape talking to him there, telling him to keep the pressure up. He'll pop, peek, try to force de Alba into a mistake.
Definitely takes a moment before you can catch your breath, reset, restabilize, especially after you take the long cut like that.
Meanwhile, back up front, it's still Jacob Abel, but Nolan Siegel clearly has some pace because he's cut about a half a second off of that lead. When you look at fastest laps, it is Jacob Abel by about a 10th over what we saw early from Louis Foster. Third quickest is James Rowe in the opening moments. And then look who is running in third, Jamie Chadwick. She has had really solid qualifying efforts. 5th at Barber, 6th here this weekend. She is last in points, though, because of contact in the first two events. And certainly can argue not necessarily her fault in some circumstances when you go back to St. Pete.
Well, since they unloaded here, that car for Jamie
Chadwick. Taking care of the tires, this is a really solid pace.
They're giving
her...
I'm cruising. I like that. Jamie Chadwick doing a great job. One of the reasons that I think she struggled last year is so many of the tracks, or all of the tracks, were brand new to her. She didn't have a lot of experience in it. You know, she's a 3-time W Series champion. She knows how to wheel a race car. And coming back to the Indianapolis road course, they raced here multiple times last year. So she got the experience with the doubleheader in May to come out. They unloaded well. She had a great test in the fall here. Had a great pace yesterday. Maybe a little disappointed qualifying 6th, but all that chaos at the start, she kept her nose clean. She's running in a podium spot.
And then meanwhile, right behind her is Callum Hedge, the 20-year-old Kiwi with HMD Motorsports, who has the HRC scholarship because of what he did by winning the Formula Regional Americas Championship last season. So he's in a new situation. Preseason testing is always really important. He goes to the Sebring test and wakes up in the middle of the night, doesn't feel right, thinks he has food poisoning, calls his girlfriend at home, and she says, I don't know, I'm looking it up on the internet. I think you've got appendicitis. Goes to the hospital, has surgery, so he missed the preseason testing. He was in the car at St. Pete way before most people are after such a situation. So he's lucky to have made the start of the season. So I think he's still very much coming into his own as we see that battle continue to rage, and de Alba is now trying to get back at D'Orlando. I mean, trying to get Juven Sundermorthy. D'Orlando is still right behind, and Sundermorthy is still hanging on to that spot in 6th.
And look at D'Orlando, third car in line, setting up for the exit here at turn 4. Those two cars in front hurt their momentum onto this long straight. He might think he's in the catbird, but Juven doing a lot of rear guard action here.
Further back, Jonathan Brown and Miles Rowe. And now de Alba's got him. Took a while. He got him into turn 7.
He made him go the long way, but he got it done. Now D'Orlando with a great run out of turn 12, popping to the outside into turn 12, out of turn 10, sorry, looking for the over-under.
almost side by side through there.
It's so hard to regain your momentum when you get out of step. It's a great run for D'Orlando. Even Sunderworthy with the quick defense down to the bottom. But Orlando's got great momentum here. Looking really good to get the pass done.
You got to think about Jonathan Brown a little further back. Sunderworthy does. Brown's going to try to go around the outside. That is tight. They come very close to touching it. Miles Rowe is going to peek his way through there.
Miles Rowe in the background going, I'll take the sit in the catbird seat, let the momentum switch, and I'll take advantage.
All right, so right now, what does Sunderworthy need to do? He's still running 10th. This is a deep and talented field. It's still going well, but I'm sure he's a little frustrated with the way the race started.
We're only halfway through this race. He needs to take a breath, refine where his car works, because as these Firestones wear over the course of the race, the balance of the car is going to change. He's going to have to figure out how his car works. We'll get a replay of turn 1 here. D'Orlando gets it done. Brown goes all the way around the outside. Sunderworthy does a really good job to protect the car here. And that upset in momentum. He turns in. Miles Rowe's there. He's got to give up the corner.
And those are 4 drivers that have done a lot of racing against each other for the last few years in USF 2000 and USF 2000, USF Pro 2000. Brown and D'Orlando were teammates last year at Turn 3 Motorsports.
They're probably tired of seeing each other on the racetrack after the last couple of years.
Well, D'Orlando and Rowe were always fighting for wins. They went down to the final event as Jack William Miller looks inside on Euban, backs out of that. And then right behind is Bryce Aaron. But he's a lap down, according to timing and scoring. So Aaron is in there, in the mix, in that red and black 27 Andretti Global car.
The next car for position is the blue and white Christian Bogle behind Bryce Aaron.
Here's Miller looking again. Turn 7. Got up on the curbs, hangs on to it. No contact. Nice job by both.
Oh, I think Euban's got a flat tire here.
Did they make contact?
Looks like the left front is flat. It's only flat on the bottom, Kevin, but
let's see again.
I think the contact might have happened earlier in the corner. So it's a late pop from Jack William Miller. Gets in there, locks up, a little bit of contact. Looks like the wing to the left front sidewall on the 22 car.
Oh, what a shame. Great start for Euban Sunderworthy. Moving up from 15th up to 6th. Now, unfortunately, it all goes away, and unless there's an immediate yellow, he's going to lose the lead lap. But he showed good pace. I know he's going to be frustrated, but this is massive experience. He's racing up front with really talented drivers, as is he. And he's won on the lower levels, but this is the top step. And he's not raced up near the front in Indy NXT before, so that's one that you can kind of cross off and take to the next one. Jacob Abel has raced up front. He's done that for a couple of years, and it took him that period to break through and win, which he did 2 weeks ago at Barber Motorsports Park.
Tell me when I can start pushing.
And now he's cruising.
It's probably going to be never. You're holding the gap. That's all we need to do, manage this race. You're doing a great job.
Well, Kevin, it felt like Euban Sunderworthy had something stuck under his left front tire, but you were right in your initial assessment. Turned out to be a flat left front. They fixed it. He's back out on the track.
Thank you for that update, DJ. I was going to say, this is a very different race lead for Jacob Abel than when he picked up his first win just a few weeks ago at Barber Motorsports Park. There, he absorbed and soaked up so much pressure from this driver right here, Nolan Siegel. It's almost easier sometimes when you've got that car in the mirror and you're managing that gap so tightly. Yes, it's more stressful, but sometimes it's easier to stay focused because it is so immediate. That threat of losing the spot's so immediate. When you've got a 4-second gap, it's really important to just hit your marks as a driver, stay clean, limit mistakes, and manage that gap at a bigger margin. That's a very different race up front for Jacob Abel than a couple of weeks ago.
Looking at lap times, they're running very similar lap times at this point. fastest lap is still Abel, and Siegel only has the 5th fastest lap, 4/10 off. However, it's possible there's more in that car. My thinking would be, if I'm Nolan Siegel, yes, I can push as hard as I can, but I'm not going to catch him unless there's a yellow. Do you save your Firestones in case there is a yellow?
That's a smart way to do it, is save your Firestone, save your push to pass, so that you've got some dry powder if it goes yellow towards the end of the race. Go back to this line of cars led by Jack William Miller, who got damage on the front wing. I think that's where that contact was.
Yep. Sunderworthy. And now he is being attacked by Nolan Aller, 22-year-old from Michigan, grew up playing hockey, and got into cars a little bit later on. Born in the Detroit area, lived in St. Pete before moving back to Detroit in that area. A lot of success in SCCA, won the runoffs a couple of times in Formula Continental and in the Formula Ford class. Made a big step up this year to Indy NXT. Oh, and there's Sunderworthy. And we are going to get a caution. So will this change everything with 15 to go? Jacob Abel was home free. And how much has Nolan Siegel saved those Firestones? Do Jamie Chadwick or Callum Hedge or anyone else have anything? First, let's see what happened to Juven. Lost it.
Lost it early in 4. That is such a hard corner, because you come out of turn 3, driver's right. That turn 3, turn 4 seems to forever turn to the right, always around. And if the car just gets a little loose, you can lose that rear and spin off into the gravel, as Juven's done here. What a shame for Juven Sunderworthy. He was having a really great run. Look at the gap these first 5 have pulled on the field. The rest of the pack is way back there.
Yep. So Jacob Abel was controlling things by 4 to 5 seconds throughout this event. I don't think we saw any way that Nolan Siegel is going to catch him with that yellow, but that's what I mentioned before. I think it's possible there might still be more in that car, but he was safely in second. Why force it?
I think this will be an opportunity for Nolan Siegel to prove that he had something left for Jacob Abel at Barber when it went yellow right at the end of the race. This restart's going to be really important, that Jacob Abel gets a good jump, gets a good run through turn 1, through turn 2, good run out of 4, and is able to pull a little bit of a gap right away, because the draft is so big here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that those long runs down to turn 1, down to turn 7, you get so much aerodynamic advantage when you're the second car in line.
We've seen some big movers. It's been shaken up a little bit with some issues with some of those that start up near the front. Miller has moved up 10 spots from the start. De Alba up 7. And we're just starting to talk about Nolan Aller, who's moved up 7 spots from his starting position. Also, well done so far by Niels Colin, another driver, 22-year-old from the Netherlands, making a big jump this year. He's really only done about a year of car racing, and he has, it's a different approach. He's tested some, but not a lot of car experience. Kind of F4 is what he was doing, and steps all the way up with the big kids in Indy NXT, and he's moving forward. And Reese Gold running up closer to the front. Reese is used to running up there, but started 10th and now running 5th, and he's one of those that maybe might be quick enough to contend for the podium here.
Yeah, and a really great job. These Indy NXT cars are a lot bigger and a lot heavier than an F4 car, even a US Pro 2000 car. So these drivers, it's not particularly hot today, and it's a beautiful day at the racetrack, but they've still got a 12, 11 lap shootout left to go here. And these drivers up front, they're going to have their hands full with each other.
All right, we're all curious what Nolan Siegel has available. Let's listen to his radio, see if we get a hint.
Still really good. You've been doing quicker laps than Jacob has at the end. Just hold on, but let's win this thing. We need to beat Jacob here.
There you go. We're not satisfied just running second and scoring points. That's C.R. Cruz, former Indy Lights driver. Still does some racing in prototypes and works with a lot of young drivers. Really, really good driver coach.
Yeah, really good job. And, you know, Nolan's done a really good
time. I'll call green for you, and then I'll hand it over to Charles to go at the line.
CR is also Charles.
Yeah.
I always ask him, are you CR or Charles? Whatever. Just call me whatever.
Just don't call me late for dinner, right? I raced go-karts with CR years ago, and I think Nolan's challenge this month, or at least coming into the month of May, has been how do you focus on this Indy NXT race weekend? 2 races, as many points as we've had all year. But also start to think about what trying to qualify for the Indy 500 next week looks like. It's a balancing act, and so far he's doing a really great job. And you know, one driver I want to point out this yellow also benefits is Louis Foster. He's been around the championship conversation all year long, and with that damage and that front wing, he's all the way back in 15th, but everyone's right in front of him now.
Here's what's coming up tomorrow. The IndyCar warm-up at 11:15. Alex Palou on the pole. Will he dominate? Does someone have something for him with Christian Lundgaard, Will Power, Joseph Newgarden, Pato Ward, and Scott Dixon up there? Second half of this doubleheader at 1 o'clock, all on Peacock. And then 3 o'clock on NBC. Join us for the Sancio Grand Prix. All right, we got a dozen to go here. We're going to go green again this time. Jacob Abel has been dominant, looking to go back-to-back. Nolan Siegel won the opener at St. Pete, finished second at Barber. Jamie Chadwick in a podium position. Callum Head with his best run so far in his young Indy NXT career. And Reese Gold behind. And then before we go green, we've got a problem further back. Is that De Alba that's turned around? It is.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And we will not go green.
That restart zone is right at the middle of that corner. And if you're the leader, you want to punch off right at that apex. And as everyone's trying to get gathered up and go to speed, oh, that's contact from D'Orlando.
Oh, no. He got in there hot. They've been battling throughout the day, back and forth for position. So D'Alba had help before they got to the restart zone. So he's all the way back there. Right behind Jordan Missing. Pop for Jordan, who's doing a nice job at his debut. He just won a couple of weeks ago at Barber Motorsports Park. He's done a lot of different types of racing. He was running in Radicals at Barber, and that's what he got started in, and then ran a couple, 3 years in USF Pro 2000, and is doing his first Indy NXT event this weekend.
Right.
Stepping in for Josh Mason, and hope we see Josh back at some point later on this season. So we'll try again here with Abel, Siegel, Chadwick, Hedge, Gold, D'Orlando.
No start. Yellow, yellow.
The order may not be correct. So, does D'Alba get to keep his position? Ah, he's moving up there. That might be a way to adjudicate this. If somebody from behind hits you under yellow, does that make sense?
Man, that's a tough
newly
call.
into race control. How do you do this? You're working with some of the junior categories.
Man, that's just a hard call. As far as trying to make it as fair as possible.
It's not going to stick.
So.
They're going to move the 2 to the back. So maybe that was the 2 being proactive and saying, wait a minute, we were into yellow.
I was up there. I'll go back up there.
Yeah.
And
now let's watch the 3 there. Because the 3 was also involved, so it looks like they're making Michael D'Orlando fall to the back. And yeah, you would presume he's going to have to be right behind Salvador D'Alba.
So because of the incident, the spin under yellow, the 2 car goes to the back of the field. The 3 car of Michael D'Orlando has gotten an avoidable penalty call and take the restart at the rear of the field. So while you'd like to wave the magic wand and say, okay, it's like that contact didn't happen, you can't just ignore it and put them back under yellow.
Yeah, because everybody else right behind it says, hey, wait a minute, I was set to move up a couple of spots there.
Yeah, I didn't run into the car in front of me.
Correct.
Why shouldn't I? Why should I get penalized for this?
Yep. Okay.
Nolan Siegel's got the bit between his teeth. This is going to be a fun shootout to the end, Kevin.
Jonathan Brown up to 6, Miles Rose 7th, Jack William Miller in 8th, Nolan Aller in 9th, Niels Colin in 10th. But up front, it's Abel, Siegel, Chadwick, Hedge, and Gold. Let's try again. Back to green at IMS as we hit 10 to go.
Jacob Abel should not hit the restart zone until this next left-hander.
How much does Siegel have? Is he going to be on the attack into turn 1 with that big, long straightaway?
Green
Abel
flag,
takes
green
off.
Flag, green flag.
Siegel goes with him pretty well. He'll try to draft. Chadwick running in 3rd in line.
Four
Hedge
back.
might have a little look further back. Miles Rowe is looking to the inside. No change in the top 5. Side by side further back. Jack William Miller locks him up. Will he hit anything? No, but he's got big damage.
I'm not sure how he did that and didn't hit anyone. Louis Foster says thank you very much. He's moved from 15th to 12th because of the 2 cars moving back and the restart. Takes another one on Christian Vogel.
You called it. That restart played into his hand. He's not going to win from back there, but he might salvage a top 5, 6, or 7 out of this. After having a broken wing and being the victim of a blocking penalty. It's still Abel, but Siegel is staying close. So is Chadwick. Miles Rowe is up to 6th. Here's Foster. Further back, working on Missick to try to get into the top 10.
Look at that big lockup. Jack William Miller. Heads up driving from Nolan Aller and Niels Coolin there. They see Miller with that broken wing, locks up, sliding the inside. He, you know, as much credit as I can give, okay, that lockup, maybe not smart with that broken front wing, but he did a great job of damage control there. Great damage control. Side by side.
Foster and Missick. That's baptism by fire by Jordan Missick in his first Formula Car race in a little while, going against one of the championship favorites in Louis Foster, who is now back in the top 10 after being about a lap down at one point.
It's an unbelievable bounce back so far. And I don't think Louis Foster's done yet. We got 8 laps to go, and I think he's going to try and take advantage of every one of them to get to the front.
And if he were to get another caution, maybe he could sniff a podium. Probably about 5th or 6th is about as high as he's going to be able to climb. Louis Foster won the USF Pro, then the Indy Pro Championship a couple of years ago, and a really solid rookie season last year in Indy NXT, finishing 4th in the championship and one of the heavy favorites coming in this season, along with the likes of Nolan Siegel and Jacob Abel. That's the way it's played out. They are top 3 in the championship, but there's a little gap. So Foster needs to score some points because those 2 guys he's chasing are 1-2 right now. Nolan Aller doing a great job today. And James Rowe is in recovery mode after he had that issue early on in the race, still trying to make his way back up forward. And Rowe, by the way, he's still a lap down, so that's a lap car.
And Louis Foster is teammates to James Rowe here, so I think he needs to be a little smart in letting his teammate Louis Foster by, so Louis can go after Nolan Aller for now.
And he did. DJ, what do you know?
Well, I can tell you that Jack William Miller came down into pit lane, changed that front wing, and got some fresh Firestones put on the car. He's back out on track.
After that broken front wing and that big smoky mess into turn 1, there'd be pretty square Firestones on the front of that car, so it's smart to get it changed.
And did he lose a lap? He did. So he has fallen off the lead lap. Pretty much impossible to get anything changed and stay on the lead lap unless you've got a big lead.
He has 95 left, 95.
The talking push to pass and how much remains at this point. Abel up by over a second. Same for Siegel on Chadwick. Same for Chadwick on Hedge for the final podium spot. So top 5 have not changed since that restart. Miles Rowe has moved up in the Force Indy car. into 6. Jonathan Brown still running 7. Niels Colin with a fantastic drive, running an 8th. This is a driver that's never raced at this kind of a level, and he is running an 8th. He may not hang on to that, but it has been impressive so far, and he's certainly in line for a good finish.
Great racing throughout the field, and it really comes down to the use of that push to pass. We heard the radio conversation about how much time is left as we see an impact. That 21 car off in turn 7.
What a shame for Jordan Missick making his debut. 26-year-old from Joliet. Started racing cars at his home track at Autobahn. Just trying to find his way around Aller. No, just got into the back of him.
Just got a little crossed up and got that wrong, I think.
And we are yellow now. So Abel is going to have to do it again. And it's a yellow for his teammate that brings out another restart.
I know race control will they may try and just drag that car behind the wall and make this as quick a yellow as possible so they get a shootout to the end. You know, Jacob Abel did a great job on that restart. We said, oh, how much does Nolan Siegel have in the tank? How much can he attack Jacob here? I guarantee Nolan wasn't holding anything back, and Jacob had driven out, gotten out to a 1-second lead over Nolan Siegel there.
Yeah, Aller was fighting with another car, and somebody did not expect the braking when it was happening going into 7. And unfortunate for Jordan Missick. Hopefully not too much damage. He'll be ready to go for race 2 coming tomorrow. So now inside 5 laps to go. The lap cars move to the back, so it'll be clean because we do have a few relatively quick cars like Bryce Aaron, who is up there in the middle of the mix, but a lap down. Jack William Miller is a lap down. Kyle Collette is multiple laps down. He's still running. Back up front, it's Abel and Siegel. Let's listen to the 39.
Well, this is why we save, bud. This is why we save to the end. It's going to be full burn all the way to the end. Probably going to have 2 to 3 laps to go. So I have 1 lap of push to pass. I want you to push everything you got into this. The vibration's not stopping you because you're much faster than him. So keep it up.
So the one thing I got of that, normal coaching and use the push to pass, but he's obviously complained about a vibration, maybe a flat spot from earlier in the race, because they're saying, hey, this vibration isn't holding you back, you're still fast. So maybe that 39 car is not quite at 100% to go attack the 51 of Jacob Abel.
I think that's Nathan Toney, his engineer, one of the really young, talented engineers. They've actually worked together when Nolan does some sports car racing. I remember they were working together here when Nolan was driving an LMP3 in the IMSA weekend here last year. So Nolan said he might have had something for him if it could have stayed green to the end at Barber. Does he have something for Jacob Abel this time? Jordan Missick did get refired. That's where he was. The AMR safety crew is clearing out. So we will get set to go, hopefully this time. That's the plan. And we'll have 3 circuits remaining at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the first of a doubleheader weekend for Indy NXT. Tomorrow at 1, IndyCar at 3 with a 3:40-ish green flag. Abel seems to be on it. Siegel, Chadwick right there as well. Now they'll slow things back down. Coming through the south end through turn 12, 13, exit of 13, which is pit entrance as well, where Abel could start to accelerate. Well, Siegel is right there. Here we go, 3 to go in Indianapolis. Abel, Siegel, Jamie Chadwick in a podium position. Fanning out further back. Miles Rowe is working on Reese Gold for 5th. Siegel takes a look to the outside. Chadwick trying to hang on to 3rd. Colin dives to the inside. No contact, they get through. Rowe picks up a spot. He's into 5th.
Miles Rowe with a great run on Reese Gold. Louis Foster now coming around Colin and Brown.
Foster in that orange and black 26 was all the way in the back and is trying to drive up, maybe flirting with the top 6 or 7. Abel has hung on to it. 2 car lengths into 7. Less than 2.5 to go. Chadwick still right there in 3rd. De Alba trying to recover. De Orlando still right there with him. They're trying to get back up into the top 10. Oh, it is wild.
All these fast cars trying to recover momentum, get going towards the end of this race, pick up as many spots as you can. Reese Gold overshoots 13. Miles Rowe looking at Callum Hedge just up the road.
Up front as we hit 2 to go. Siegel is right there with Jacob Abel. About 2 car lengths.
Going around the outside, we got to fake up.
Jamie Chadwick in good position for a podium. What a result that would be. Especially the way her season has started.
Push that button. Push that button.
Use all you got. Abel is gapping a little bit. Not a lot of strategy at this point. There's no fuel issue. Use all you got here. Because the white flag is up next.
Pretty clear direction from the team. Push the button. Use the overtake. Push to pass and everything you've got. I really think these 2 drivers are going to be the ones we're talking about all the way through the championship finale.
Keep an eye on Foster. He's 7th. Still got a chance at 6, trying to score championship points. Siegel's not done yet. Abel is still going to have pressure with just a little more than 1 lap remaining. There's the white flag in Indianapolis.
You push to pass here, please.
Half a second is the gap. It's 3 or 4 car lengths. Jamie Chadwick has finished 20th in both races so far this season. She's in position for a podium. Callum Hedge trying to hang on for 4th and Miles Rowe up into 5th. But the focus is up front. Does Siegel have anything? With really 1 more good passing zone to come.
Jacob Abel looked like he was maybe a little sideways out of 4. Nolan Siegel definitely clear.
No pressure.
This is his shot.
Don't give up.
He's not close enough. It's going to take a mistake.
It's great radio from the team, talking to their driver. Hey, he's not close enough, and don't give up. The 2 messages to the 51 and the 39.
Siegel is still within striking distance. There's still pressure on Abel. He has to hit his marks. He's down to 3 corners remaining. This is a challenging spot at times right here. Turn 12, Abel nails it. Siegel still 2 back. Chadwick still in position for a podium in 3rd. 1 more corner. Jacob Abel back on the main straightaway. Looking at the yard bridge. Jacob Abel has won in Indianapolis. Back to back for Abel to take over the championship lead.
Beautiful, buddy.
Siegel comes home 2nd and a podium for Jamie Chadwick.
Yeah.
The 3-time W Series champ in her 2nd year racing at this level has the result she's been looking for.
A great fight back for Louis Foster. Early damage, broken wing, comes back all the way to 7th to keep himself in the championship conversation.
There were some good recoveries here today.
They talk about momentum. They said once Jacob Abel got that monkey of his first win off his back, he would start picking them up and racking them up, and now he's won 2 in a row.
This is a young man within the last couple of months has been thinking about the possibility of running the Indianapolis 500. There are different circumstances involved in that. Finances is always part of it, finding the right parts and crew. But also, it was decided, with Jacob included, we want to focus on this. We want to win the Indy NXT Championship. Our time will come, and he might run IndyCar races later in the year. But for now, let's focus on this. Trying to win the Indy NXT Championship and the scholarship. At the moment, it would be a 14-point advantage on Nolan Siegel. Louis Foster falls 58 points back.
Come on. Yeah, great job, guys. Honestly, there's really good pace in that car. I just didn't want to over.
Hell yeah, that was awesome. Fantastic.
really good at the restarts at the end there, and it was against some pressure. That was awesome.
I think this will do a huge amount for her confidence. You know, getting off to a rocky start, her pace was so much better to start this season. She didn't get the results at the end of the day, but today, coming here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, she gets her first podium. Is that her first Indy NXT podium?
Oh, it is, yes. I think 6th is her best result from last season. Let me double check that. Yes. 6th at Portland, 8th at Nashville, 10th 3 different times.
Standing on the podium here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is going to be such a special experience for Jamie Chadwick.
Jacob Abel now has the hang of this.
Having done it once, does he have the hang, or does he has experience?
Sure, but he's not won in Indianapolis. Team is based here. He's been a Butler University student in Indianapolis, and he is a fan of the sport. This is a big one. DJ Clark is down to greet Jacob Abel, a winner in Indy.
Jacob Abel getting out of the car here at this point. A big high five to the members of the team. Let me come around to your other side here, Jacob, as he gets out of the car and gets himself ready to go. Jacob Abel, 2 on the trot, my friend, and at Indianapolis. Congratulations.
Yeah, man, I mean, this is awesome. Unfortunately, we don't get to celebrate for too long here. We get another chance at it tomorrow. That was a really great race, though. You know, Nolan and I had a great battle. I had it under control the whole time. You know, I had a big lead there, and unfortunately, a lot of yellows had to really make me work for it at the end. But I was just saving tires early on, so I was ready for that, you know. But yeah, it was really good. Massive thanks to all the Abel Motorsports crew. I mean, they just delivered an amazing car. You know, we didn't roll off 100% here, but you know, we figured it out in that one practice session that we had, and that's almost more gratifying than last weekend when we just rolled off perfect.
Well, I mean, you've been able to claim 2 on the trot tomorrow. This has got to be just same strategy, different day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the start was great. Luckily, I'm starting from the same spot tomorrow, so hopefully just capitalize on that, and yeah, eyes forward.
All right, that's your winner, Jacob Abel.
What a day for Jacob Abel, who takes a little bit of control in the championship right now. Siegel comes home in 2nd. Jamie Chadwick in 3rd. First Indy NXT podium since Pippa Mann at Kentucky in 2010. And might, we're still researching this, might be the first junior formula podium placer at Indianapolis. We'll have more research and get back to you on that tomorrow. But what a day for Jamie Chadwick, and really good results by quite a few in this one. Callum Hedge stands out, Miles Rowe, Jonathan Brown, Christian Bogle with the top 10, Niels Colin as well. Let's hear from Jamie Chadwick with DJ.
Down here on the grid with Jamie Chadwick. Jamie, your first podium, congratulations.
Thank you, yeah. I mean, I've sort of got results over the time of last year, just sort of getting lucky with contact and things, but this year we seem to have really good pace, and we just haven't been able to convert it into results. So yeah, podium is more than I could have asked for in that race. Like I say, we felt a little bit lucky with a few people kind of coming off in front, but we had such good pace actually at the end, so yeah, just really happy.
Really, really happy, Jamie. Congratulations again.
Cheers, thank you.
And she gets to take what she learned today and get after it a little bit more tomorrow. Car was good, so we'll tee them up again at 1 o'clock, and this is where the championship stands after 3 rounds now.
The thing that stands out to me is those top 2 have definitely separated themselves. Jacob Abel with 2 on the trot, 2 wins in a row. Nolan Siegel winning the first race is in the conversation, but Louis Foster's fight back today may keep his momentum and championship conversation alive.
So tomorrow, another full day of USF 2000, USF Pro 2000, Indy NXT at 1 o'clock. The IndyCar warm-up is at 11:45 and 3 o'clock here and on NBC for the Santiago Grand Prix to find out who takes momentum into the 108th Indianapolis 500. The month of May is underway. Where else would you rather be than right here at IMS? We'll see you tomorrow.